Join us, the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast, on a journey where we delve into the heart of the matters that truly make a difference. Our mission is to create a platform where we can openly discuss topics that often go unnoticed or unexplored. We aim to shed light on these crucial issues and have meaningful conversations. We invite you to tune into our podcast, where we will explore the depths of these subjects and let our hearts guide the conversation. Together, we can create a space where everyone's voice is heard and where we can collectively work towards a better future. Welcome, everyone, to the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure to interview this look at this beautiful lady with her dimple, Miss Karen Walker. Miss Karen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate you.
When people see this video and as they're watching it, look how regal she looks, y'all. There's like
You stop it.
an elegant air.
I'm grateful for you.
Y'all gonna find out why. Listen to this. Miss Karen is a highly experienced and talented creative director based in Pennsylvania, with a strong focus on event and media production. Over her 10 plus years in the industry, she has gained a wealth of knowledge through various sources, including mentors, colleagues, and practical experiences. Her certifications, plural, as a curator and director of events and media, as well as her expertise in videography and editing, showcase her diverse skill set. That's not all, y'all. We got more. As the executive director, host, and set designer of Diamond in the Ruff, a televised program, Karen Walker is dedicated to curating memorable experiences that educate viewers. This dedication reflects her passion for providing meaningful and impactful content to the audience, demonstrating her commitment to the industry and her craft. Who do you say you are, Miss Karen Walker?
I'm a diamond in the rough. To be quite honest with you, a precious gem who fine tunes over time, just like all of us. You know, ebbs and flows, growth.
You have to tell us, where do you get, there's this elegance, there's this peace about you. Where's it coming from?
The grace of God. You know, and my ancestors, my late grandparents, mainly my grandmothers, my parents, a life of learning, a life of understanding, a life of really honing in and focusing on human nature with great respect and honor. I've written some notes down just before we got started, and I thought to myself, well, what will I say if she asks me this particular question? And I have to say that I've learned how to, again, respect and honor the human condition, you know, to study people and really enjoy human interaction at a deeper level than just the surface.
How did you learn that? That's very difficult, or is it not? But I would think it's very difficult to do that.
I would say it's relatable to your relationship with God. It's an ordained assignment, right? It's a vulnerable space to be in, but what other place would you want to be vulnerable in What other space would you want to be vulnerable in?
Hmm.
It's a choice.
Are you a poet?
I do write, but I've never published anything. I love to read, and thank you. That's so kind.
I mean, it's sort of unexplainable
Mhm.
the way just the energy through this screen.
Mhm. Thank you.
It is clear, aside from me knowing you, just
Mhm.
by this interaction right here, that God has set you aside. Uh, you're you're that beautiful pink dot in a sea of black dots.
Wow.
How does it feel to, and I'm sure you have felt this, or maybe not, but how does it feel to be sort of on a different path? Like God has particularly set you to be different.
Uh, Let me think. I've been in my pruning season for quite some time, and just watching and learning and acquiring different skill sets. Um, and then, most honestly, just having a keen sense of a purpose about my life with great intention. So, again, it's just uh, respecting the human condition and listening more often than talking. It took some time for me to understand that. And I think that maturation has a lot to do with it. I think that I, as a young adult, experienced a lot of fear in my life. And as I continued to grow and prosper um, into a woman, I understood that there was great value in observation.
Mhm.
You don't necessarily have to express yourself in a certain way to be noticed.
Mm.
To that point, it's not important for me to be the center of attention. Um, I take great pride in learning and understanding um, the qualities of other people and the skill sets that they've acquired, because there's always something to absorb and learn about people. We have great minds in this world.
Mhm.
We have change makers such as yourself,
Yes.
in this world. Oh, yes, you are. So I honor you. My work is to honor the people that I know,
Mhm.
the featured guests that I have on my show, and to broadcast that information
Mhm.
for a greater purpose.
Mhm. Let's talk about that. What made you get into this field of media, of content creation, of directing, of everything? Talk to us about that.
Well, events and media production are basically one and the same.
Mm.
I've always had an interest in events and media production, but I wasn't quite certain uh, what my path was. Let me say this: I didn't trust the path
Mhm.
because of fear of the unknown, fear of being uneducated to a certain degree in my mind,
Mhm.
uh, self defeating behaviors. So I had an interest in media production probably about 25 years ago. I actually interviewed for a position at Channel 3, I believe it was Channel 3 or 10.
Mhm.
And although I didn't get the position, I thought to myself, well, I reached a benchmark.
Mhm.
I overcame this fear of attempting to do something,
Mhm.
um, Shortly after, I thought to myself, wow, I love social settings. And why not have a potluck with women? We'll just sit around and we'll talk about things that are concerning us,
Mhm.
anything. And that's what we did for many years. That was the brainchild
Wow.
of Diamond in the Rough. That I won't call it a program. I'll call it a wholesome gathering,
Mm.
if you will. Was entitled "Ladies First: The Journey."
Mhm.
So years later, as I was studying at Philadelphia Community Access Media Center or Broadcast Company, which is located in Philadelphia, I was supporting other productions for several years and um, pursuing my certification succinctly with my event production certification. This is a long answer. Uh,
Love it. Keep it coming.
and so, yeah, and so I thought, wow, there's some more hurdles for me to cross over.
Mhm.
And that was, believe it or not, having a fear of public speaking. And so I thought to myself, I need to put myself at the forefront.
Mhm.
And today, Ladies First: The Journey is now Diamond in the Rough. Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
when I hear a fear of public speaking, I know everybody listen close, like, what? The way that you speak and how what?
It's an out of body experience. I just pray as I go along, you know. I appreciate your support.
Well, listen, I just what was that feedback with the women?
Wow. They love it. They miss it. They enjoy it. Um, I just created my YouTube page uh, for our initial broadcast,
Mhm.
which was recorded a couple of years ago. Um, it was a beautiful experience, I'll say that.
Mm.
Yeah.
How did
So,
you feel during and after? I mean, for you to be so honest and transparent that there was a fear there, and then for you to accomplish that, Miss Karen, how did that feel?
uh, I'd have to say that similarly to "It Takes a Village to Raise a Child," um, when you have a flock of strong minded women to support you, you can do anything. I'm grateful. I'm blessed.
You are, and you mentioned earlier that you are a diamond in the rough.
Mhm.
Is that why you chose the name? Or was there something in particular that struck you, or why diamond in the rough?
Let me tell you the significance um, about the name. Yes, in fact, that was the reason. Uh, but more specifically, my larynx represents the diamond. The ruffles around my neck supports my speech
Mm.
as an orator, but I'm not the only diamond.
Mm.
Everyone that's involved in our production is a diamond in the rough. We're all working very diligently to support our program. I never viewed my experience as a soul experience. It's a wholesome experience. Um, I love the people that God has given me. You know, they're precious jewels, and they've given me so much wisdom. You know, in both industries. So I cherish those relationships. The featured guests. There's a purpose for us selecting specific uh, artists,
Mm.
entrepreneurs, grassroots organizations to represent our show.
Mm.
If you don't have an interest in being a blessing or of service to the general public, we're not interested. Diamond in the rough.
Mm.
Iron sharpens iron.
Mm. You sure you're
I
not a
can't
poet?
wait. Pardon me?
Are you sure you're not a poet?
Funny. No, I just, I'm very passionate, you know, about interpersonal relationships. I think it's so important, particularly now in our world. Um,
Yeah.
it's important for us as adults to be relatable and to set the tone for future generations, and it takes time.
I mean, uh, you're one on one, not one in a million. You're one of one. There's one of you. I mean,
Mhm.
you've mentioned your team. Talk to us about your team and your colleagues and how within your team and maybe outside your team you have been mentored
Mhm.
and you mentor. Talk to us about that.
Again, I pursued both events and media production succinctly. And at that time, my daughter was in junior high school. Um, and that time where I acquired a sense of purpose because I had a very tumultuous relationship with myself,
Mm.
understanding that I was worthy. That was a time where I think I discovered that there was a purpose for my life. And if I invested in myself, trusted myself even more, um, great value would be added to my life. Uh, so I entrusted a very wise man by the name of Ira Rosen. He is formerly the associate director of Temple University's Event Leadership and Hospitality Program. Hospitality Program, that is not the name of it. Event Leadership Certification Program,
Mhm.
of which I graduated from back in 2018.
Amazing.
I had the nerve to walk into his office, call him, and schedule an appointment with him. Um, to talk to him about this program. And again, it was a very vulnerable time in my life. And he just looked at me and he said, "It's your time."
Mm.
2 years later, um, just about 2 years later, I was completing my internship and met another mentor of mine by the name of Mark Barely, who is the owner of Specialty USA. It's an event organization. Does a lot of work around the city of Philadelphia. He's played a vital role in my life ever since. With the two of them, I've had the opportunity to work on the Thanksgiving Day Parade. I've worked on the Made of America event. I've worked with the Parks and Recreation Department in Philly. Um, I've also had the opportunity to work for the Fringe Festival, the Old City Festival, on and on and on. In addition to that, being a member of Philadelphia Community Access Media since 2013, B. Joyner, uh, she is an amazing photographer and producer at PhillyCam. Um, She's also like a mother for me, my production mother, who I confide in when I need to speak to another woman about how to live life as a mature woman. Um, who else? Antoine Haywood, who's now the associate. What is his title? Oh my goodness. He is now the associate. Well, he was formerly the membership director at Philly Cam. He and his family, his lovely wife and his daughter Ava, just recently moved to Florida, um, where he has taken the role of the assistant professor of journalism.
Amazing.
Yeah. So at Philly Cam, in addition to himself, Gretchen Clausen, who's the executive director, um, has trusted me with coordinating events for some of their award ceremonies that we've had in the past, and a plethora of colleagues and friends that I've met there. That just kind of took me in. Philly Cam is like my second home, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's amazing how God lined things up for you. You know, there are no mistakes ever. Ordained assignments are what they are. I'm grateful. I'm not perfect, but I'm grateful.
Mm. And from
Yeah.
all of that love that's poured into you, you are then able and do pour
Mhm.
it to others.
Indeed.
How does that feel? I mean, just to continue the pouring, passing that baton.
How does it feel?
Yeah.
Um, I feel that I I'm in alignment with my purpose. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have to figure everything out right away, or there's a specific, timeline.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I'm content and very happy with where I am right now. You know, I've curated the production, um, but God has manifested the lifestyle.
Mm. And as you're talking and just your energy and the way that this is going, what comes to mind is, excuse me, in life, I think society tells us to rush everything. You got to be here, you got to be here, got to be here. There's a peace in you of there's sort of like I feel like there's like a stillness, a peace, the right speed, the right movement. How is that, Miss Karen? Like, how are you able to have peace in the midst of your journey?
Hmm. I would have to say that, unfortunately, it took an illness for me to get to this point, to be quite honest with you. And when your life flashes by you in that sense, you have a different perspective about life. Um, Several years ago, I had a stroke and then I had a relapse, which led me to the point where I could not speak. It took my speech away. I had to learn how to speak again using picture books, elementary picture books. But I rebuked the devil because the glory of God told me he wasn't finished with me yet.
Mm.
And I had more to do. And this is not about me. This is about his purpose and to serve his people. So I guess, that's why I'm learning how to acquire certain skill sets that will help me feel more confident and comfortable in this space. That doesn't mean I don't get butterflies in my stomach or um, nervousness. It just doesn't dissipate, you know. But I have a plan for my life, and I'm going to continue to seek it out.
Mm. I'm gonna ask one more time. Are you a poet?
No, I just have some great people. I have just as yourself and your mama. Okay, don't let me go there.
Oh, Father, help us to the cross.
Miss Narda. Um, I'm looking forward to talking to her again. You know, I have some. I'm blessed.
Mm.
My daughter is blessed. My family is blessed. The people that we know in our lives, the change makers, again, such as yourself, add value to our lives. And sometimes I don't think that you all realize the significance of your will
Mm.
um, and presence in our lives. Sometimes it's so great, there's no way uh, to fully convey that message other than to just say thank you. I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you because one of the reasons why I appreciate you is despite or in everything that you've been through, you have a beautiful piece about you. I mean, I just can't stop talking about it. It draws people to you.
Mm,
Who are you?
yeah,
Who do you belong to? What's your story? How can I stay around you? and, and out of everything you've been through, how are you still able to give God the glory? How is that possible?
it's called faith,
Mm.
and I didn't just show up. We didn't just show up. It's beyond the scope of just looking through a lens and seeing an image. How can you curate something to convey a message that respectful, that will be pleasing to him first and foremost, and it stops there. You know, um, you were speaking about instant gratification earlier, right? And that's not something that I subscribe to, especially being a mother. Mothering has been uh, a university for me. However, there's no guidebook, really.
Yeah.
So you rely on the grace of God and your parents and your sisters and your friends who've experienced it to really have a better understanding of what it requires and what it entails. So you just watch and listen and learn and implement and pray.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting ready to ask you, but I'll go to the next question. That's what I was going to ask you. Are you a poet again? But knowing what you know, is that how you're able to curate such impactful and timely content or productions? Is that how you're able to do it?
you know, you you can't forecast time, right? You can only live in the experience.
Mm.
And so at one point I was so anxious because I was so excited about my the show because I love people. I love people, you know. But then I took a step back and I thought to myself, you know, studying and establishing a healthy rapport with whomever is essential.
Mhm.
You know, um, so I want my guests to have an opportunity to tell their story. You know, they deserve that respect, and I appreciate the commitment and the time that they spend to come and talk to me, so that they can in turn educate the public. It's not about me; it's about them providing a service. Those are the only people that I have an interest in interviewing.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean that I have to agree wholeheartedly with everything that they're doing,
Mhm.
you know, but as long as they are respectful and that they have an interest in providing a service, we can then continue to be gems and shine just as brightly as ever.
Mm. See, everybody, I had the pleasure of being a part of one of Miss Karen's productions, and the attention, the detail, the expertise, the experience, the questions, the set, the energy, the lighting, it's like, what? You did this for us? I mean,
We had a good time.
to be a client of yours, to experience your
Thank you.
diamond in the rough expertise,
Thank you.
it's like, yeah, we need to run this back every month.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you learned since birth how to create an atmosphere where people are comfortable to share their stories? How are you this good?
I don't know that I have the answer to that, but I can say that this is my truth. This is who I am as a person. Um, I love people. I love on people. I enjoy people. I may not have the resources to give people what I really want to give them, and that's not anything monetarily or even anything in the physical realm, you know? Um, it's just a feeling, you know, and you know it. You know, it's similar to being in the presence of someone that you just met, and there's this great chemistry,
Mhm,
and you just trust the energy.
mhm,
And then whatever happens after that, you really don't try to forecast or predict anything.
mhm,
You know, there's ebbs and flows, but you know, you're not winging it. You're trusting the course.
mhm,
It's not a conditional or a transactional relationship. It's love.
mhm.
It's pure love to me. Yeah.
And in this love, like you wear all these hats. You
Mhm.
direct, you create, you do the set designs. I mean, you're an all around creative.
I love it.
That's not common. I mean, usually people focus on one thing. That's okay. You know, you're a
Mhm.
great director, you're a great this, you're a great that. How are you able to do that? Are there some challenges to that, or you're just a natural and there's no challenges to that?
If there weren't any challenges, there wouldn't be a means to grow, right? And so, with that being said, I'm not a perfectionist in the sense that I need to know all these skill sets, but I just I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy the people that I work with. So I worked on 7 shows prior to producing my own, and on all of these shows, I had an interest in everything else but being in front of the camera, that being the floor manager, right? And all of these roles require a lot.
Yes.
A camera woman, director, a technical director,
Mm,
which means you're physically sitting behind or inside of a booth controlling or directing a camera person, right? Um, I love interior design. So, just as these are all the things that I love, I decided to work on shows that I had an interest in. I worked on a show that specifically produced dance shows. I worked on a genealogy show, um, and so many others, um, because they were things that I was interested in. And I don't know if I'm answering your question, but
hard.
okay. And then to meet these amazing, talented people in varying degrees of study
Mhm.
that had bachelor's degrees and then technical certifications, high school diplomas only, you know, master's degrees, all working together in a non judgmental environment.
That's beautiful.
How could you not thrive
Mm,
or want more for each other?
mm,
That's purpose.
mm,
That's a plan.
mm.
Yeah,
That's a sermon.
indeed.
Yeah. Wow. That
That's omnipotence. That's greatness.
yes.
Yeah,
You are in constant evolution. You are constantly learning. You are a forever student.
and doing it afraid at times.
But
You know,
and in the years that you have put in, how are you able, because you are, how are you able to keep up with the trends, to stay relevant, to for your colleagues to want to work with you? Yes, Miss Karen, we need you on this, we need you on that.
mhm,
How are you able to keep up with the trends and continue to stay relevant?
mhm. Um, first and foremost, prayer.
Mm,
Okay, that's most important. Um, and then I study while the world is asleep. When the world is quiet, you know, my grandmother used to say to me, and I'm so, the darkest hour is just before the dawn.
mm,
I have a recording of her saying that. Now I haven't listened to it in a while, but it's so true. The darkest hour is just before the dawn. That doesn't mean that anything morbid, you know. It means that great things come to light, is what that means.
that's a book title.
Yeah, she was a wise woman. So I try to incorporate all of her teachings into my life on a daily basis.
Mm.
You know,
People say that we're still living on our grandmother's prayers.
come on, let's talk about that.
So talk to us
Indeed.
talk to us about that. How, because you referenced her a couple of times. How has she
Yeah.
blessed you to be this Karen Walker? Talk to us about her.
She taught me how to be patient. And again, instant gratification can potentially put you in harm's way. And as much as we want things right now, what did I write down? I wrote something down. What did I write down? What was it?
Take your time.
She taught me how to concentrate on how I show up in the world,
Mm,
you know, um, and being mindful of my social presence. Uh, my parents the same, you know, um, because we're all leaving an indelible mark, whether we have children or not, on our youth.
mm,
So whatever energies we provide for them is exactly what they're going to mimic.
Mm.
That's what she taught me. Yeah.
Was she a poet?
She read a lot. We studied the Bible together very often, and I'm grateful. My family in general, and I hope that most people feel this way about their relatives. Um, have invested a lot of time and energy, love, and is chastisement a word? Chastisement, yeah. In our our younger generations even. And so our role is to pass the torch.
Mm,
And I don't want to fail them.
mm,
I want my daughter even to be greater than me. That's my role, is to make sure she's greater than me, and that she teaches she teaches the lost or the uncertain to
mm,
do the same.
mm,
Be it friends, family members. That's her role.
mm.
Yeah.
You're a great family. Mm,
So are you. Thank you.
mm,
I appreciate that.
mm. What is next for Karen Walker, for Diamond in the Rough? What is next?
What is next? What is next for me is to be more consistent with planning events. So you will hear from me soon. Um, and enjoy that space, to expand that space, to expand my knowledge and skill in both industries. Um, yeah, I think that's it.
Where can people find you to work with you, to hire you, to be a client of yours?
Well, via email, info at diamondintherough.social. Again, that's info at diamondintherough.social. I am in the midst of finishing or completing my website. I need to fine tune that a little bit more. Um, YouTube, Rough House Media, and Ruff in Diamond in the Rough is RUFF. Ruffles around your neck support the larynx or your diamond, which is allowing me to become a greater orator. Rough House Media on YouTube, um, Diamond in the Rough uh, on Phillycam's channel, phillycam.org, and acquiring more contracts around the Pennsylvania area and beyond,
There you go.
um, supporting people's businesses. Yeah, as a videographer, as a event planner, as a curator, again, of events, a designer of sorts. Yeah. hmm Basking in your presence because I enjoy folks.
And that is honest.
Pardon me?
And that is honest because you do,
Yeah. Yeah.
sincerely.
hmm Thank you.
Is there something you want to share with the audience, something that's on your heart to say?
Be mindful how you show up in the world. Commit to being a change maker, like Dr. Nia Bailey. That
Like
is it, and that is all.
like Miss Karen Walker. Diamond in the Rough. When you
Mhm.
contact Miss Karen Walker, you will experience a level of professionalism, expertise, kindness, respect, love that you won't find anywhere else. It's not to knock anybody. Everybody has their purpose and their position,
Indeed.
but it's to say that working with her will allow your production, your event, whatever it is that you need to be created and done and completed, it will surpass your vision.
Mm,
And not only that, it would be purposed.
mm. Amen.
And I'm just going to end with contact Karen Walker, Diamond in the Rough. God bless.
Thank you for joining us on the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. Remember, each conversation brings us closer to a world where compassion thrives. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's keep the heartbeat of humanity alive. Subscribe, share, and be a part of our journey to make a difference, one conversation at a time. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, be a blessing to others, and give agape love. God bless.